So guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Ian West Network, and today I have two products that we're going to review. You see the specifications on the side, so kind of do a little comparison right there by pausing the video, but that doesn't necessarily mean which one's going to be better just because you can see specs. Now, and I have the Capsule 3 Pro Plus. I had to get that name correct. That one is normally $129.99, though they're on sale on Amazon for about $99, depending on the buyer. And we also have the Air 5 Pros, which are normally, I think, about $79 or so, but you can get them for a little bit cheaper on Amazon also. So if price isn't an issue, automatically I'm going to suggest the capsules because they do have better sound. Even though the Air 5 Pros have the lossless audio, it doesn't matter if the drivers aren't nearly as good as that model. But it also, because it's a cheaper amount, some people are just more concerned about getting to and from. And I will say that the microphones are much louder on the Air 5 Pros than they are on the capsules, in my personal opinion. And again, I have a test so you can actually hear that for yourself. So anyway, let's get right into this review, do a quick comparison. For the person that wants to see the longer form videos, which this is probably long enough to be honest with you, I will have the link in the description for each review separately so you guys can decide which ones you prefer. Anyway, let's get right into this review. I do think that both of the earbuds are actually very comfortable. I wore them over a period of a couple of days between each one of them respectively, just to kind of get an idea of how I felt about them. Now, the Air 5 Pros do feel like they go deeper into the ear canal. So I'm not going to say that it sits better inside the ear. It's really all about the preference of how your ear is. If you have medium-sized to larger eardrums or ears in general, basically you're going to find these a lot more comfortable than a person that has smaller ear. Now, my wife has very small ears, so for her, she can barely use any headset. Now, she did personally say that she kind of liked the Air 5 Pro fit better, but she's not really a fan of stem earbuds, so she wouldn't stick with both of them. So just take that with a grain of salt. She normally uses, like the G-Lab Mini, something extra small. But for right now, we're talking about this particular brand. I like them both. Both feel good. I don't have ear aches with either, to be honest with you. Which one lasted longer in my ear in terms of fatigue? I would say that the Air 5 Pros. The Air 5 Pros I had to take out earlier, primarily because the sound profile isn't as good as the Capsule 3. So when you hear screeching noises by turning up the volume on the Air 5 Pros, the music profile is better balanced on the Capsule 3. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the listening experience in combination with the actual fit and feel is better for the Capsule 3 Pro Plus. Let me say the full name for anyone that is wondering. But either way, whichever one you decide to buy, both of them are very comfortable in the long run, and I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. When it comes to quality of sound, the capsules pretty much take it in every category. I'm just going to be honest with you, at least to the naked ear. So let me explain. The bass is heavier on the capsules. The voices are more pronounced on the capsules. If you're listening to a bass line, if you're playing games with it, for example, there will be people out there that use these earbuds connected to their Nintendo Switch or their Steam Decks or some form of handheld console, or you might even have Bluetooth capability on your laptop or your desktop. And if you happen to just watch movies or watch podcasts, whatever it is that you're doing, the sound quality is just better on the capsule. So let me kind of explain the Air 5 Pros, and then we'll get back to this. No need to make it a super long section. So with the Air 5 Pros, they tend to suffer from sound quality deficiency when it gets past, I say 50 to 60%. You start noticing that the bass is stretching a lot more. You start noticing the higher the volumes climb, the instruments playing start sounding a little more messier because it's a lower end headset. I think of it as like more of a mid-tier headset for the person that doesn't want to spend that $129. Now, luckily, you can get the capsules on sale for $99, and that's definitely worth the asking price if we're just talking about music quality alone. Now, granted, they do have lossless, the Air 5 Pros. They have all those different little features right there that the Capsule 3 Plus don't have. but it still doesn't equate to real-time usage. I'm telling you, if you want that extra heavy bass, like I was bopping my head back and forth listening to a bunch of death metal and rock songs. I listened to a couple rap songs here and there. I did some soundtrack, listened to the Resident Evil, played Ender Lilies, played Silk Song, whatever it was. And just whatever test I did, I just noticed that the capsules just held the sound a whole lot better, whether you was at 100%, which I don't suggest listening to, that's too loud, or you was at 50% or 20%. It was just a solid bass. It was a solid sound. It sounded like it flushed very well. Now, the downside to the capsules, because no headset is perfect, is that the microphones kind of aren't that great, which we're going to go over that section in a moment, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But if we're just referring to the drivers that they put into these things, they sound great. Like, to be honest with you, I don't really do comparisons often, but one of the favorite brands that I like is SOUNDPEATS because of their sound profiles, even for their low-end or high-end headphones. And I can honestly say that listening to the SOUNDPEAT capsules, I'm like, I don't mind listening to these. Like, it's comparable to that, where their quality of sound is getting so much better as time goes past. And I love the way the capsules are. I can't stress that enough. If you are a music lover and you're a SOUNDPEATS, you like the SOUNDPEATS brand, you get the Capsule 3 Pro Plus instead of the Air 5s. But if money is an issue, it's understandable why you would get the Air 5 Pros. You're still going to like them. You're still going to have a great time. You still have full customization, EQs, all that stuff to make it sound better. But outside of the box right away, even matter of fact, the capsules weren't even in LDAC when I was using them. And the actual LDAC was on the Air 5 Pros and they still didn't sound better. So that just goes to show you that the capsules just have better drivers and better quality in general. So this right here is a Capsule 3 Pro Plus. This is what's going to be the sound sample when using the microphones or doing recordings with them. Now, they do sound a little bit clearer when you're actually talking on the phone with other people, where I didn't feel like anyone really complained about the quality of the headset. Of course, I talked to my wife and just made some phone calls in general. And again, nobody really complained. They said it wasn't necessarily as clear as some of the buds I normally have, but the price point for some of those other buds are actually more expensive, so it's understandable. So, if this is something that you're interested in, this is level quality that you're going to get. So this right here is going to be a sound sample of the Air 5 Pros. Now here's something interesting. I'm actually not talking louder than what I was in the other video, but this microphone actually pick up my voice much louder than before, to where it sounds like it's over amplified. Now that may be a good thing for some people, so they don't have to talk as loud, but if you do yell, it's going to sound extra loud in the other person's ear. But yeah, these headphones are pretty decent in my opinion. Go outside with them, they work well with sweat and water resistance for gym and things like that. But, anything in inclement weather like rain, heavy rains and stuff, some headphones aren't going to perform well with the microphones. So keep that in mind. But with that being said, they're good for what they are. So both of the headphones do have a bunch of different features inside the application itself. So you have the options to use LDAC, you have the options to use multi-point. You can go into the actual keystrokes and disable them if you don't like touch controls. You also have the option to actually go through each individual tap and change it the way you want for full-blooded customization. So depending on which earbud you decide to buy, they still will have full app support. And of course, there is transparency mode, there's ANC mode, there's also the normal mode also. And those work pretty well for the most part. Though what I will say is that I do think that the Capsule 3s have better overall quality when it comes to transparency and noise cancellation in combination of the music. Because remember, music quality and drivers do matter regardless of the other features. But it doesn't mean that the Air 5 Pros are a slouch. They're not. They're actually really good in their own right. On top of that, you have the option to do your own custom EQ, or you can use the ones that actually come with it. And if you want to take it a little bit further, in the settings, you have the option for firmware updates that'll give more features and more stability to the earbuds themselves. So my suggestion is to kind of go over it yourself and just kind of figure out what you like with your personal headset. And if you want a more deeper explanation, like I said earlier in this video, in the timestamps, there will be the full review for each individual headset separately. If you're watching this video, if you want to dive deeper into it, my suggestion is to also look at other reviewers to kind of get an idea and gauge of what sound is best for you. So keep that in mind. Always shop around. So if you had to ask me which earbuds I would prefer or suggest to get, if money's not an issue, then the capsules are going to be the better option. You may ask why. Well, the capsules have much deeper bass, much better overall sound. When you turn up the volume inside of your ears while wearing them, they are super comfortable with the fit and feel section if you saw that. But also a sound profile needs to resonate with your eardrums. What I mean by that is if you hear screeching noises and stuff, it's going to cause soreness or ear aches. This one, on the other hand, kind of, the Air 5 Pros, even though the profile does sound decent enough when it comes to music, when you start increasing it past 50%, 60, 70%, you start noticing that the bass suffers, you start noticing that the vocals suffer a little bit and the instruments in the background. Now, you can obviously tweak that with the equalizer to make it sound better, or put bass boosts on, which made a huge difference in the quality of sound. But some people aren't that tech savvy. They just want to take something out of the box, use it as is, and it just works better. And that's going to be the capsules right here. Though what I will say is that the Air 5s have much louder microphones. I could talk regular and it sounds like I'm yelling and I'm not. I'm just speaking regular when I did that sound test, but these are just that loud. It is what it is. Battery life isn't that dramatic, though the Air 5s may have about an hour or so more in battery life on a regular charge. The capsules overall still, I believe, have the better battery life when it comes to the combination of earbuds and the case itself. Both of them have multi-point, both of them have LDAC, though this one has lossless and a bunch of other features. To be honest, that might mean something to somebody else that is a tweaker when it comes to how they set up the equalizer and how they listen to certain music. I still suggest the Capsule 3s because it's just the overall better headset, and just in my personal opinion. But of course, it's up to you guys to really decide what it is that you want. But hopefully this review helped you. My suggestion is to also look at other people's reviews, look at my original reviews of these. All will be in the link in the description. Check out other people's channels to see how you feel about the headset. Someone may go in more depth. This is more so a quick video to kind of compare the two. Anyway, like and subscribe like always, guys. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care, peace, and God bless.